Hey there. Today we're going to have a look at a couple of Alpha model kits, see what they're all about, see what's in the box, check out the quality, figure out who these are made for, whether they're worth buying. Stay tuned. Alright, before we get into this, just wanted to let you guys know that Alpha Models sent these to me. They sent me two kits, I think we saw there, both Porsche 911s. One's a 992 GT3, and this one here is a 991 GT3. Why is that not focusing? There we go. Yeah, so they provided these free of charge. I'm under no obligation to do whatever I want. I just told them, you want to send me some kits, I'll do a review. As long as, my only stipulation was as long as it's independent, which was not really what he was looking for. But I was pretty insistent on that, and despite that, he still sent me some guides and everything on how he wanted the kits presented and whatnot, which I promptly said, thanks, but I'll do it my way. So here we are. We're just going to have a look at the kits. This isn't going to be a build or anything. So we'll open up the 991 GT3 kit. I've already gone through the 992 and I've thrown some primer on it just to see what the resin's really like, to see how well the molding is. I didn't prep the body or anything. Well, I did a little bit, sorry. I described the openings in the body a little bit deeper, but those are the only, so just the doors and the hood I scribed a little bit deeper just to see what the resin was like to scribe. But anyways, we'll get to that when we look at that body. But this one, I've opened it obviously, but it's pretty much packaged as, why is my focus being so slow? It's packaged as it arrives, so this is what you get when you open it. Lots of bubble wrap, sort of just, you know, covering everything up. Instruction manuals here, they're pretty small. We'll have a look at that in a minute. And there's the contents of the box. We'll just move this aside a little bit so I can get the components out with the body, and then just a bunch of Ziploc bags, little heavy-duty Ziploc bags with everything in it. A little bit more bubble wrap. I think that was it there. You got the photo-etch, the windows, and a bunch of screws. Well, not a bunch, 4 of them. So that's the packaging. It's packaged pretty decently. You know, I don't know what more I'd ask for. It all looks pretty decent. I don't think anything's broken on this one. I think I had like one part broken in the other box, but you know, no better, no worse than other sort of garage kits such as this that you would get. So really, Studio 27, Model Factory Hero. I think Top Studio does some trans kits. You know, they're all packaged like this. This is pretty much what you're going to get regardless of the manufacturer. So obviously, if you're used to building plastic models, this is considerably different what you're getting here in these kits. And we'll go over that a little bit. So yeah, that's the way it all comes. Let's just get this all out of the way here. And let's have a quick look at the instructions. I think for anybody that's not familiar with working with these types of kits, the instructions are usually a little shocking. They're not what you're used to with Tamiya or Fujimi or any of the mainstream, you know, mass-produced kits. I don't know if instructions is really the best descriptor for what they give you, but it's enough to get you through. As we can see here, this is all the resin parts, and the parts count is 58, so there's not a whole lot of parts here. You got a couple frets of sheet of photo-etch and the acetate windshield as well to increase the parts count a little bit, and then we got we'll have some decals. So let's just flip this over. This is the instructions. So it's more of a schematic, or not really a schematic. What's the word I'm looking for? I guess schematic kind of works. It's more of a isometric drawing with just indicating where the parts go, which I guess is instructions in a way, but it's not really a guide. It just shows you where the parts go. So it takes a little bit to interpret and figure it out. So, you know, for those unfamiliar, just take your time on it, sort of look at and do a bit of a dry run on it. There's not a lot of parts, so it's not exactly time consuming to do a dry run, just to make sure, figure out order of operation. In some cases that might be important. I don't know for sure, but you know, it could be things like if you put the center console in first, you might have a hard time putting the radio face on. Anyways, there's not a lot to it, so it shouldn't be too difficult. So this is pretty much getting the interior done up here. The exterior parts, a lot of this is this PE meshes and so forth, so those would probably need to be painted black before you install them. Body would all be painted before you do that. Getting the glass in and the exterior components here, and yeah, and this is it. So obviously this kit is a curbside kit. There's no engine detail, no suspension detail. It's aimed more at having a nice little display piece with a fairly nicely molded and well done body. I think that's sort of the main, you know, objective of this type of kit. So that's what you're getting. All right, so I've got everything sort of unpacked, or not everything, but most of the things unpacked here. Quick look at that. You know, so again, not a huge high parts count, but you know, the way they've kind of done things is kind of nice. You know, like we've got things like, here's the dash here. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit. Hopefully this will focus on this with all the stuff in the background. But, you know, like the vents that go in the top here in the corners and the center part. And then again, I think while we looked at the instructions, we saw like the infotainment center faceplate. They're all separate pieces. And the reason they do that is so it makes it easy to paint everything. So more or less, this is probably only one or two colors. Like the dash color is probably like whatever color you want. The dash top pad, and might be a lot of Porsches have sort of a two-tone dash. So you need to do a bit of masking and painting on this for the lower half. But then those insert pieces would be a different color. They'd be black, you know, the black vents. So it makes it really easy to paint and then assemble them. And that's sort of the logic behind a lot of the stuff that they've done, is they'll separate apart to facilitate its painting and assembly, and then make that a very easy process. So that's quite nice. You know, like the headlights are separate. So you'll paint these and then you insert them into the body, and so you don't have to mask off on the body. So that's nice. One thing I noticed on this particular kit, there was a lot of parts broken off the little frets. So be mindful of that. You know, you might think this is just a little piece of flash, but it's not. It's a part that's broken off right there. So don't throw those little bits away. You know, this one, there's nothing on it. It's probably the two mirrors. They both broke off. One of the calipers is broken off. I shouldn't say they're broken. They're not broken. They're just come detached from its little fret. So yeah, it's all very nicely done, though. I gotta say, like, very little work needed to get all this ready. The wheels are super finely molded, very thin spokes, which is great, and the tires are rubber, so they're rather soft, and they have really nice molded in tread detail. No sidewall detail on them though, so this one happens to have quite a bit of flash and a bit of sort of some artifacts on the inside, so that would, yeah, you clean it up. You'd never see it on the inside on a kit like this, but they fit the wheels really nicely. But what I was going to say about the wheels is very thin molding on the spokes, which is great, but it also means they're probably quite fragile. So a lot of care and attention would be needed there. There is a lot of flash on these. It's very minor, but if you threw some primer on this, you'd see it. It would stick out like a sore thumb right now. So every spoke's going to need a bit of cleanup. There's a bit of a booger here. I don't know how much of a booger that is. You know, it's there. But it would all need, they'd need a bit of work, these wheels. I'm sure, you know, a little bit of time spent though, and they'd be great. But they're definitely not ready to go. Yeah, so I think for all the little resin bits, they look pretty good. Steering wheel, steering column, nothing looks to be broken. So that's good. Their clear parts are not the greatest. I don't know. You can really see how wavy it is. I don't know. I'm just looking at a little tiny monitor, but yeah, they're not the greatest. They're fairly clear. These get some sort of cloudy patches on them, but I was just looking at these, and the lenses themselves are quite clear, but you can see the sprue, the pore block isn't clear. It's frosted, which is pretty typical. Like Model Factory Hero ones would be like that too. What I think they've done, and I took a quick look at the tail lights, or a good close look at the tail lights. I think these are dipped in some sort of clear coat. That they've taken them and dipped them in. Could be future, I don't know, or some. I'm just speculating there, so don't quote me on that. But they have been dipped in something. You can tell they've been coated with a clear coat, and it appears that they've been dipped in. So, you know, I'm not going to comment on whether using future is a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a thing. So, but that's kind of what looks like it's been done there, which is, you know, it's a good way of making a not so clear part or something that's got some minor scratches in it, get rid of those. But, you know, these need a lot of work to get them smooth, in my opinion. So you're going to have to sand them. So it's actually a bad thing because of that, because you're going to have to strip that all off and then reapply some clear coat to make them go clear again, or polish them. So anyways, that's an observation on the clear parts. All right, I'm going to get this all. There's the seats. Quick look at those. Again, quite nicely molded. Like I'm pretty sure they must make their masters from 3D prints. And you can tell they spent some time cleaning up their masters, because there's not really any signs of print lines on anything. So that's really nice, you know. So a lot of time was spent, I think, on making their masters, and that shows in the quality of the parts. They're all nice and chunky, so they're keeps them straighter. You know, the rear wing, it's very thin. It doesn't look like it's warped, so that's nice. So anyways, I'll get this stuff off the bench and we'll have a look at the body and the windows and photo etch. So I'll be back in. So here is the flat pack portion of this. We have a couple little decal sheets. We got one really like the main decal sheet here. Let's zoom in a bit. It's just upside down, a few little things, some sort of instruments, the Porsche emblems. I'm not quite sure what the round ones are. Oh, probably for the wheels, the center locks on the wheels, that sort of thing. So not a whole lot of decals in this one, but they give you the metal transfers for the mirrors, and then they give you some sort of metal metallic decals for the Porsche emblems. So those look quite nice. And then we get a couple frets of photo etch, which are all look to be quite nicely done. They're protected on both sides by a film, which is great. So windshield wipers, looks like vents or some sort of thing. Bunch of grills, seat belt buckles. Looks like the wing support. They give you a really nice photo etched nameplate for the model, and this looks like a template to put some Porsche lettering on or paint it. I'm not sure. Trying to see if there's lettering for Porsche anywhere. What would the purpose of this be? Not sure. It wouldn't be a painting stencil, but oh yeah, here they are. Here's all the individual. The Porsche script for probably for on the back. It's got, I don't know if you can see that there up at the top here. It's a little jig template to align those properly. That ought to be fiddly. And then the window glass. Looks like part of the tail lights or the side marker lights or signal lights or something. Anyways, this is nice. This is good and bad, I guess, in both at the same time. It's really nice that they print the border on the glass, so you don't have to mask and paint it. So that's really good. This has a protective film on both sides, so it'll be much clearer than this when they're when you peel that film off and get them applied. What's not good about these is, you know, obviously the windshield curves both sort of left to right and top to bottom, so doing that with a piece of flat plastic is kind of difficult. So I suspect they probably minimized one of those curves, so it's not quite accurate, but you know, that's fine. I've seen these built, and I've seen some people struggle with this, and some people have absolutely no problems with it. So, you know, a vacuum form windshield might be a bit more accurate to get it molded with its curves in versus the flat windows, but each their own on that. I'm sure they go in fine. A little bit of patience to get them glued in properly, and they'll look great. So, and then we have also in this one, we've got a set of turned aluminum exhaust tailpipes. So that's quite nice. They look good. They're quite thin edge, so they'll look really good on there. So that's sort of all the flat pack parts, so to speak. And that just leaves us with the body. So we got the body, we have the interior tub and the bottom tray. So we can start looking at the bottom tray. There's absolutely nothing to see because there is absolutely no detail on here. The screws they give you that affixes the, they give you 4 screws, but there's only 2 spots for screws. Or is there 4? Oh, there is 4. Okay, it's kind of weird. This fits in here like this. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screw locations. Only 2 of them have their recesses. Where did my screws go? The screws they give you are countersunk screws. None of this is countersunk. And, you know, as you can see, it's, you know, a lot of room for adjustment. So, obviously, this kit is not a full detail kit. And the bottom is one of the things that has no detail. So, is what it is. The tub, or sort of the passenger compartment tub, just fits in here like that. Obviously, you need to put the door panels will go into the body first, I believe. You stick them in on the doors first, and then you put the tub in. And it again doesn't. It's got room for adjustment. That's why I say I think, yeah, you got little notches here. The door panels will fit there and there. But as you can see, like, the body is quite substantial. It's quite chunky, which isn't a bad thing. It should be fairly stable then, you know, not less chance of it warping. So that's a positive for sure. The detail on this, the molding, you know, looks really nice. Some of the panel lines for the doors and trunk, engine cover, they're not very deep. Some are better than others. This one, the ones at the back, are pretty shallow. They look a little soft. Same with the doors. The hood, actually, the front, they don't look too bad at all on this one. So they'll need to be rescribed more than likely. Like, I would not be rescribing where the bumper meets the fenders. Typically, if you go look at the real car, those would be quite tight joints. Unlike, you know, if it's an opening panel like the doors or whatever, they'll be quite a bit wider than those ones because obviously they need to function and they need clearance. But bolted on fenders, you'll have very tight joints on the real car. So I would personally only rescribe the doors, the frunk, and the engine cover. But overall, the quality of the casting looks really good, to be honest. Like, I'm, you know, hot off the heels of building a couple of model factory hero kits, and this blows the doors off of their resin casting. That's for sure. But this is also just, you know, not a full detail kit. They have the luxury of being able to essentially mold it with massive supports, which, you know, definitely helps in that regard. So a little bit of interior detail there as well. We got the sun visors, looks like some switch gear up here, so that's nice. So yeah, the quality of the molding of the body looks really good. The interior tub, pretty basic, a little bit of detail on the sides, but all in all, not bad. So actually, not all in all, it's good. Not bad. It's probably a bad descriptor. It looks really quite good. So yeah, that gets positive